The media, all they talk about is Caitlyn. Caitlyn could throw somebody a bounce pass. Oh my God, she threw it. It's all about Caitlyn.
Remember all the girls that were just all talking shit about her from the beginning? This was a tune change because that's how they roll. That WNBA is woke as shit. The NBA is woke as shit. And they had to tell her, you better change your thing or we're not going to get behind you 100%. And she did. She bowed down, and that's exactly what happened.
You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base.
Caitlin Clark was named Times Athlete of the Year, a prestigious honor for such a young star. However, the moment has been overshadowed by the controversy surrounding her comments during the accompanying interview. In the interview, Clark stated, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is a privilege. And a lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them." These words have sparked intense debate. Some have praised her for addressing racial inequality, a long-standing issue in sports and society. Others have criticized her, accusing her of caving to cultural pressures and compromising her authenticity. As fans and critics clash over her statements, the real question looms. What does this mean for Caitlin Clark's future and her connection with her fan base? Stay tuned as we explore the reactions from key voices in the media, starting with Candace Owens, who surprisingly defends Clark while addressing the broader controversy.
She's 22 years old. I don't know a single commentator out there, Megyn Kelly included, who did not at some point throughout their political career have the wrong perspectives. But for whatever reason, we've decided Caitlyn's not allowed that time to grow. She's not allowed time to change. She's got to be a perfect MAGA candidate and I guess stand up to the entire mob. This girl's literally being bullied, physically bullied, I will say, by the way, on the court. And we know the basis of that is quite racist. I think she just wants to survive. I think genuinely Caitlyn just wants to survive.
It's remarkable to think about how much Caitlin Clark has achieved at such a young age. Her rapid ascent to fame makes it easy to overlook her youth, but it's important to extend her grace as she navigates this intense spotlight and finds herself caught in the crossfire of cultural debates. Next, we turn to a quote from David Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports and a well-known social media personality. Unlike many commentators weighing in on the Caitlin Clark controversy, Portnoy is a genuine sports fan. He shared his candid thoughts in a casual rant posted on his Instagram and Twitter, offering his take on both Clark's statements and the public's reaction to them.
Caitlin Clark's popularity has absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin. Anybody who has actually watched women's basketball or watched Caitlin knows she plays totally different than any woman before her.
Portnoy challenges the narrative that Caitlin Clark's success is solely attributed to white privilege, emphasizing the undeniable fact that her extraordinary basketball skills have set her apart. Her unprecedented level of play is the true reason she's celebrated as the most prominent figure in women's basketball today, arguably in the entire history of the sport. Portnoy also addresses the issue of commentators who weigh in on the debate without being genuine basketball fans. He highlights how voices from all sides of the culture war are exploiting Caitlin Clark's fame, using her as a symbol for agendas she doesn't even support. This misrepresentation has led to her words and personality being twisted by those eager to shape the narrative to fit their own perspectives.
All the people who are like co-opting this, who aren't real basketball fans, who aren't real Caitlin Clark fans, are like, oh, the woke mob got to her. She's now saying her success is because of the skin and she has privilege. First of all, she didn't say she had that. She said she earned everything she got. But what do you want Caitlin Clark to do?
Portnoy expands on his perspective, suggesting that the context surrounding Caitlin Clark's statements plays a significant role in her decision to address such topics. He argues that her comments are more of a calculated strategy to navigate the complexities of her WNBA career, rather than a genuine political stance. According to Portnoy, Caitlin's primary focus is to avoid getting entangled in polarizing debates, aiming instead to stay clear of the controversy and concentrate on her game.
She plays in a league that is predominantly African American, and she wants to maybe show up at work and not have people hate her. She wants the league to be successful. The more successful, more stars, the better it is for her and everybody in the league. This backlash of Caitlyn turned on the league and Caitlyn is woke and Caitlyn is this. You fuckers are crazy. And that's what I hate. This, for Caitlyn, has never been about politics, never been about race.
The controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark might bring her more attention and virality, but it's clear she'd rather avoid all of it. Humble by nature, Clark has never positioned herself as a political figure. Her focus has always been basketball. It's what she loves, it's what she excels at, and it's what has earned her the title of Times Athlete of the Year. While the debates and discussions around her have undeniably contributed to her widespread recognition, perhaps it's time to let her shine for what she does best, playing basketball at an extraordinary level. This perspective was echoed by legendary sportscaster Dan Patrick, who urged everyone to simply appreciate greatness when it's right in front of us, as it is with Caitlin Clark. Having witnessed decades of sports history, Patrick understands how fleeting moments of brilliance can be. He emphasizes just how rare and generational Clark's talent is, reminding us to be grateful for her presence in the game rather than tearing her down.
Can't we just acknowledge Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA? That's it. It's okay. You want to throw in Angel Reese. You want to throw the memory of Cheryl Miller or Cynthia Cooper. Like, it's a win. We got to... Just, this is a unique moment. Caitlin Clark did for the WNBA what Wayne Gretzky did for the NHL when he went to the LA Kings.
There's no need to politicize every move a public figure makes. Sometimes we should take a moment to appreciate what made them exceptional in the first place. Recognizing Caitlin Clark for her extraordinary athletic talent doesn't take anything away from other athletes. Dan Patrick underscores this point, reminding us to celebrate greatness for what it truly is.
It's okay. Take a victory lap. You don't have to go, oh my God, these people are mad, or this person's mad, or this group is mad. Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA. It's okay. It's okay to say that. You're not diminishing what the founding, fathers of the WNBA did. You're not. She's the Time Person of the Year.
Stephen A. Smith, often known for stirring the pot and creating controversy around athletes' personal lives and statements, took a surprisingly respectful approach to Caitlin Clark's interview. Rather than diving into unnecessary drama, he began by commending her exceptional performance on the court, setting a tone of admiration before addressing her remarks.
She brings big-time play to the equation, big-time attention, and then she steps out. Absolutely no obligation to do so. And she points out the disparity in treatment between her as a white player and black players who preceded her and achieved so much, but lacked the level of recognition she received. Her heart has been in the right place. She deserves major, major kudos for her heart being in the right place.
He continues to commend Caitlin Clark's genuine character and sharp intellect, acknowledging her admirable qualities both on and off the court. He also pointed out a WNBA legend who has been notably critical of Clark, highlighting how political issues are often unfairly tied to her statements without proper context or thoughtful engagement.
She didn't have to do those things, but she's done those things, which is further evidence that her heart has always been in the right place, and people who were looking for an excuse to denigrate her in any way, their issue wasn't with her, it was with a bigger issue, and they may have been justified in terms of their thinking along those lines, but to aim their ire in her direction directly was foolhardy and not advisable, and it was a huge mistake on the part of people like Cheryl Swoops and others.
Caitlin Clark has often been a target of harsh criticism from her detractors, but this moment has also revealed a surprising shift in perspective from some of her most vocal critics. Among them is Elle Duncan, a commentator who was notably critical of Clark just months ago during the controversies surrounding the physical play against her in the WNBA. Now, in an unexpected turn, Duncan has been openly praising the star athlete, showcasing just how impactful Clark's performances have been in changing opinions.
I think, it's so well deserved by Caitlin Clark. The thing that Time Magazine does really well too is, their people of the year aren't necessarily who's the most popular, although in this case, this is true. It's also people who have, been a part of conversations, the cultural relevancy that comes along with it. It's why sometimes the Time Person of the Year is not a particularly likable person necessarily. And so no matter how you feel about the contributions of Caitlin Clark or the rest of the league, some of the narratives and the discourse that were surrounding it, that is also playing into why she was Times Athlete of the Year. These conversations in the W had been bubbling for a very long time. It's nothing new. I mean, these women changed the course of an entire election, and certainly not very many people were happy about that at the time.
Elle Duncan appears to recognize the influence of the narratives surrounding Caitlin Clark, perhaps because she played a role in shaping them. Notably, Duncan's earlier remarks about Clark, made just months ago, were harsh and mean-spirited, adding fuel to the controversy at the time.
I'm tired of it being people who are not in this circle or space at all who suddenly have all these opinions about how these women need to treat Caitlin Clark. What do you want from them? They want to beat her because she's not on their team. Isn't that how it's supposed to be? Y'all stop it. We already know she's transformational. They've all said it. How many times do they gotta say it?
Jim Jackson, a seasoned basketball analyst with years of experience as a commentator, analyst, and former NBA player, weighed in on recent comments made by Sheila Johnson, the owner of the Washington Mystics. While we'll delve into Johnson's remarks shortly, Jackson, with his comprehensive understanding of professional basketball from multiple perspectives, made it clear that he strongly disagrees with her take. Instead, he passionately defended Caitlin Clark, emphasizing that she is the most deserving of recognition and acclaim in the WNBA.
I don't agree with the Mystics owner saying that the whole WNBA should have been named up, because that's not true. The whole WNBA benefited this year from the viewership increase because of the excitement between Angel Reese and also Caitlin Clark. But from a pure marketing perspective, Caitlin Clark was it.
Sheila Johnson's opinion may be the most controversial one featured in this video, sparking a wave of reactions from across the spectrum. The overwhelming majority of responses have been negative, as the nature of her statement left many people baffled and questioning its intent.
I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing and their talents.
Critics have widely condemned Sheila Johnson's remarks, citing a glaring lack of awareness on the subject. Her suggestion to put the entire WNBA on the cover under the title League of the Year has been dismissed as absurd, almost farcical in its tone. Moreover, her contradictory stance, claiming she doesn't want to discuss race while opening her comments with a focus on racism, has drawn sharp criticism. Adding to the irony, Johnson expressed a desire to avoid hard feelings, yet managed to ignite further controversy with her statements. It's unfortunate how often Caitlin Clark is drawn into discussions of racism, especially when she has shown no intention of pushing any agenda in that area. This inconsistency was highlighted by Sarah Haynes in her comments on the interview.
Because she's always saddled with these issues that she doesn't have herself. This is not, they pitted Angel Reese against her, and it was always coming down to race and all these things. Caitlin Clark said in that interview, I earned everything I got. Her stats speak for themselves. She broke records that were 50 years old. But recognizing that this was built on the shoulders of people, a game she admired, players and teammates that she loved. And the most important thing she said, actually, is that brands and companies have to invest in those players too, and she needs to keep making them aware of that.
Caitlin Clark has already achieved so much to elevate the sport, not only by bringing attention to the issues surrounding it, but through her exceptional level of play and the passionate fandom she has inspired. Megyn Kelly has highlighted how Clark manages to stay focused on what she does best despite all the distractions, a testament to her unwavering dedication and professionalism.
She's the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, and she's become a phenom in part because the players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism. And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlyn is she just continues to play her game and put points on the board. And she does very well, and she wins games, and she puts butts in the seats, and she sells tickets, and she gets people tuning in on television. And all really we want to hear from anybody about this is thank you. Thank you to Caitlyn Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league.
Megyn Kelly, however, has emerged as one of the strongest critics of Caitlyn Clark's interview. She argues that Clark's remarks conveyed an unnecessary sense of embarrassment and guilt for being white, and even went so far as to suggest that her comments were insulting to black players.
She feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though, so you should give her a pass. And then she makes a point of saying, the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built, which I have to tell you is so condescending. It's true that most of these black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league.
Megyn Kelly criticized Caitlyn Clark for what she perceived as giving in to pressure from the so-called woke mob and conforming to their expectations in the media. She elaborates on this perspective in her comments.
They want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten. You will be assaulted and you will be bullied with no friends. So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege.
Megyn Kelly's sharp critique of Caitlyn Clark's statement ignited responses from several other commentators, including Candace Owens, as mentioned earlier in the video. Kelly did not hold back, accusing Clark of hypocrisy and questioning the sincerity of her remarks.
I'm sorry, but if she really just wants the spotlight to be on the deserving black players who surround her and on whose backs this league was built, then you shouldn't have taken the honor. Then you should have said, make the WNBA the team of the year, the league of the year. What I don't need right now is an additional singled out honor. That's what she should have done. You can't have it both ways.
Gilbert Arenas commended Caitlyn Clark for the positive impact she has had on the WNBA, while acknowledging the controversy her rise might spark among WNBA players who also seek the spotlight as competitors. Arenas urged them to view it as a net positive for the league and the sport as a whole.
It's good for the W because it just keeps putting a light on the sport for everybody else to eat. And, sometimes, just as athletes, we are competitive by nature. And, we don't like when someone's getting something that we don't think they deserved, right? When we've been in a game. But we have to understand, the more loaves that someone gets, the more crumbs everybody else gets, if you think of it like that. Like, if there's only one loaf, right?
Can I get a slice?
And we get a slice.
I want some slices.
Right? Yeah, we get a slice, we get one slice. Right?
A whole slice.
If this person now has 4 loaves, we get 4 slices, right? And I think the more walls get knocked down, there's more opportunity for everyone to just eat.
In the same episode of Gil's Arena, Cheryl Swoops shared her perspective on the matter as well. Unsurprisingly, she appeared hesitant to give Caitlyn Clark the recognition many believe she deserves. This reluctance aligns with her history as a consistent critic of Clark.
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were, but the fact that that's the very first WNBA player to ever win Time Magazine Athlete of the Year is pretty special. And my question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, which, yeah, she had a great year, or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season?
Caitlyn Clark has undeniably earned the title of Athlete of the Year, as demonstrated by the waves of discussion sparked by a single interview. From the biggest names in sports commentary to prominent voices in political discourse, many have weighed in on the conversations ignited by her words. But who do you think had the best perspective among these featured quotes? No matter where you stand, one thing is clear. Few athletes have reached the level of prominence that Clark has achieved. Her influence will undoubtedly continue to shape both the sports world and the broader cultural landscape.